What if the life you claim to want terrifies you? Not the failure, not the struggle, not even the pain, but the staggering, suffocating weight of your own freedom. The moment you realize, with blood and bone, that no God, no leader, no fate will ever lift the burden of choice from your shoulders. This is the unspoken truth that haunts you. You are too free. And like every generation before you, you scramble to surrender that freedom before it burns you alive. The Stoics knew this fear. The existentialists named it. Now the question remains, will you bear it or betray yourself trying to escape it? Nietzsche's madman declared it first. God is dead, but he wept as he said it because he knew what came next. Not celebration, but vertigo. The horror of an empty sky where commandments once hung. The realization that every thou shalt had always been a thou choosest. And here in this silence, you falter. You trade liberty for likes. You swap sovereignty for schedules. You bow to algorithms, to gurus, to hollow routines. Anything to pretend you aren't the one holding the knife that cuts your own path. Marcus Aurelius wrote in The Dust of War, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." But strength is not the problem. Courage is. The courage to stand in the howling void and say, I decide. The chains are off. Why do you still hear them rattling? Viktor Frankl survived the camps by seeing what most never do. Even in hell, choice remains. Not over circumstance, but over meaning, over stance, over the unkillable eye that no whip can touch. Yet here you are, free, fed, safe, whispering the slave's mantra. I had no choice. When you stay in the soul-killing job, when you mute your truth to keep the peace, when you let the world dictate your worth, you aren't helpless. You're hiding. Epictetus, born in chains, spat the truth. No man is free who is not master of himself. You want liberation? Start by calling your surrender what it is. Not necessity, but cowardice. Not lack of options, but lack of will. The bars are gone. When will you stand? The Stoics practiced memento mori, remembering death, not to despair, but to wake up, to feel life's fleeting heat and ask, what the hell am I doing with it? But you treat mortality like a rumor. You scroll, you numb, you postpone, as if time owes you another tomorrow. Here's the axe blow truth. You will die, and the person you betray daily, the one who craves meaning, risk, aliveness, will die with you, unheard. Nietzsche's challenge cuts deeper. Die at the right time, not just physically but symbolically. Let your excuses die. Let your fear die. Let the old obedient you die, so the true self can breathe. Death isn't waiting for you. It's urging you. What will you do before it answers? Every myth whispers the same warning. To slay dragons, you must face the beast within. To reach the light, you must first wander the dark alone. This is your crossroads. Will you cling to the herd's warmth or step onto the cold path of self-creation? Plato's cave wasn't just a prison, it was a womb, safe, warm, familiar. And escaping it meant exile, scorn, the unbearable loneliness of seeing what others refuse to. But here's the paradox. Only in that exile do you find real belonging to yourself, to those few who've also burned their chains. You fear the monster you'll become if you break free. But what if it's the saint you've buried? Nietzsche's command isn't gentle. It's a gauntlet thrown at your feet. Become who you are, not who they praise, not who they permit, who you are. The Stoics called it living in accordance with nature, not trees and streams, but your nature, the unedited, unapologetic core that knows right from wrong without a rule book. Frankl found it in Auschwitz. Marcus wielded it as emperor. Epictetus carved it from slavery. And you mute it daily for approval, for comfort, for the lie of safety. The world needs you, your you, not another echo. When will you answer? Every morning you bury a ghost, and the person you could have been, the words unsaid, the love unrisked, the greatness traded for comfort. This is your true debt, compounding daily in silent regret. Kierkegaard warned, anxiety is the dizziness of freedom, but you've mistaken the symptom for the disease. That knot in your stomach? It's not fear, it's unspent courage. The crushing weight of potential you refuse to lift. The Stoics measured life in actions, not years. Seneca wrote, it's not that we have too little time, but that we waste so much. How many sunrises have you traded for snooze buttons? How many callings have you drowned in trivialities? The bill comes due, with interest, when death whispers, we could have been glorious. Here's the truth no motivational lie will tell you. Real power begins when you stop fighting reality. When you kneel, not to man or God, but to what is. Epictetus, the lame slave who became a king of minds, taught, don't demand that events happen as you wish, but wish them to happen as they do. This isn't passivity, it's leverage. The moment you accept that storms come, that betrayal hurts, that death comes, you free yourself to act within truth, not against it. The modern world sells you control. The ancients offer something better. Anti-fragility, the art of growing stronger where you should have broken. Will you trade your illusions for that blade? All great transformations begin with funeral pyres, the death of who you were. All great transformations begin with funeral pyres, the death of who you were, the cremation of what others thought you should be. Nietzsche's "You must become a chaos to give birth to a dancing star" isn't poetry, it's an ultimatum. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire while writing, "The blazing fire makes flames and brightness out of everything thrown into it." Your crisis, your heartbreak, your failure? These aren't disasters, they're fuel. You clutch dead versions of yourself like sacred relics. When will you let the fire do its work? In the end, only one question matters. Did you live before you died? Not in years, in verdicts, in moments when you stood alone with truth and said, this I will bear. The Stoics practiced premeditatio malorum, not to fear death, but to sharpen life, to live with such intensity that when the end comes, you greet it as an old debtor finally paid. Frankel's words from the camp's echo, everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. The weight you feared was always your wings. When will you trust them enough to leap?